Hi team, Paul here from Results Personal Training, and today we're going to talk about the kettlebell swing. Before I get into the kettlebell swing though, we're going to talk about kettlebells a little bit because we're on lockdown, quarantine, whatever you want to call it, and what I've noticed is everyone's gone out and they want to train and they've gone and bought kettlebells. And a lot of people are training with kettlebells at the moment. I've seen kettlebells for sale on Amazon for $1,000, which is crazy. So I know a lot of you have gone and got kettlebells and you're online and you're looking at stuff. And the thing with kettlebells is they are a phenomenal tool. They're absolutely fantastic and do wonderful things for you. But done wrong, you can end up with a sore back, sore knees. You can do more harm than good. So you really want to dial in some of those kettlebell fundamentals before you go start hurling that kettlebell around. And today we're going to talk about the ultimate of kettlebell moves, the kettlebell swing. And the kettlebell swing is fantastic. It's so good for us. It's a posterior chain movement, so we're working our hamstrings, we're working our glutes, we're working our back, we're working all of the muscles in our back, we're working our core. There's a ton of muscles working. It's the thing that makes us run faster. It's the thing that makes us jump higher. It's the thing that improves every single performance endeavor out there. It also works tons of muscles, like I said, which in turn costs lots of energy, costs lots of calories, and is a phenomenal fat burner. So it's an athlete building, fat burning move. And it is a brilliant move. But one of the things I see is a lot of people don't do the kettlebell swing right, and that can cause a lot of problems. That, as I said, that can be injuries, that can make more harm than good. So we're going to run through some stuff, but before we get to the swing, I want to just bring up a few things. So one, you'll notice I am barefoot, and there's a very good reason why I'm barefoot. There are 200,000 nerve endings sitting at the bottom of your feet. And all of those, every time I take a step or my feet touch the ground, those nerve endings fire up and they send signals into our brain, which then sends signals back out into our body and tells us balance, it tells us vestibular system control, it tells us proprioception, it tells us what muscles to fire at what time in what order. It's a beautiful connection between body and brain, and there's a hell of a lot going on, and it's really our feedback system. And what you'll learn about kettlebell training is kettlebell training too is all about feedback. If I hold a kettlebell out in front of me from here, well, that kettlebell wants to pull me down and forward. My core has to fire, my glutes have to fire, my lats have to fire, everything has to fire in order to prevent me from being pulled forward. That's training. That's the feedback, and that's training. And what we're trying to do is take that into real world. So when you go and grab the shopping from the back of the car, your glutes are engaged, your core's engaged, your lats, everything is engaged as it should be, and you're nice and safe, and you can do that. Same, if I want to do a little bit of gardening, am I using the right muscles at the right time? Are they engaging, doing their job for me to garden safely for 4 or 5 hours, all right? So kettlebell training is the feedback system, all right? And bare feet just gives us more input. The more input we have, the better decisions our brain comes out and makes. So that's really important. The second thing I want to talk to you about kettlebell training is breathing. Now, there's tons of different ways to breathe. We want to breathe into our bellies with kettlebell training, and there is a specific type of breathing we're doing here. We are sniffing hard in through our nose. That air comes down in through, and it pushes down on our diaphragm. That in turn creates some stiffness and tension. It's our body's own internal weight belt. So when you put a weight belt on, that basically gives a brace and a support around your spine. The problem is when you take that weight belt off and you go and grab shopping from the car and you've relied on that weight belt, and your own internal weight belt has gone fast asleep, all right? And then bam, you're gonna get a sore back, you're gonna have accidents. So we wanna harness the power of our breath to make us really strong. So sniff in, push the diaphragm down, and we know we've got it right when you brace for a punch, okay? Here, I'm not braced, I'm weak. We want to be chest and ribs are down, neutral spine. Shoulders back, but spine. This is not shoulders back. Shoulders are back here. This is neutral and braced. And that's super, super important for our kettlebell training. As we go through our movement, so on a kettlebell swing, on the down motion, we sniff in, we load, we hold, and then back of our teeth, we it's a THSS hiss through the back of your teeth, okay? Super, super important. So, moving on. As I said, kettlebell swing, super important move. One of my favorite, one of the best kettlebell movements you could be doing. It's not a squat, all right? I see all too often people wanting to squat the bell, bending their knees, and yeah, that's you just trying to keep yourself safe, baby. Back nice and straight, but that is not a kettlebell swing, okay? The squat is the squat. The swing is a hinging motion. We're designed to hinge to pick things up, and the kettlebell swing is an extension of that. It's a hinge. So what I want you to do, we're gonna prime that hinging motion, and I want you to find a wall. And what I want you to do is set feet just roughly shoulder width apart, and you're gonna take your hands and make choppers, and you're gonna chop into your hips and push your bum backwards. And you can see I can just touch the wall and I've got this neutral spine. So I hinge backwards, sniff in, and at the top, I squeeze my glutes, I brace my tummy, and I get nice and tall. Chop. Good. 3 more. Hinging backwards, make sure you've got a neutral spine, glutes, abs, okay? Here, here, all right? Sniff. Are we tall? 1 more, hinge. Good. From there, I'm going to take you into what's known as the hardstyle plank. So the hardstyle, everyone's done the plank before. The hardstyle plank, what we're looking for is glutes are switched on, core is switched on, and your lats are switched on, and your quads are switched on as well. So what I want you to do is I want you to make sure your shoulders are directly over your hands. Your bum, you're gonna think about cracking walnuts, all right? So if you've got a walnut, I want you to crack it in your bum cheeks. I want you to brace your tummy like someone's gonna come up and kick you in the belly. And then what I want you to do is focus on pulling your hands down while pulling your knees up, okay? And just breathe in through your nose. So tension and squeeze. And you're really just trying to pull everything together. So the other way would be here. And it's a lot more effective. It's a much tougher plank position. So glutes are squeezed, abs are switched on, pulling down with the arms, pulling up with the knees. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you'll notice there was a lot more tension. My whole body was pulling together, and it was bracing my core, bracing my glutes, okay, or squeezing my glutes, zipping up from my quads. That is the top of the kettlebell swing. My glutes are squeezed, cracking walnuts. I'm braced for a punch. I'm not here because here is jamming down on the back of my discs, okay? I am here, here. Here is where I want, brace for a punch. I am breaking the glass ceiling, okay? I fully open my hips out in this position. I'm zipping up from my quads. So, so, so important. So all I want you to do is I just want you to practice that before you've even touched a kettlebell. Refine that. Do a few wall hinges, hinging back here, and then come back into your hardstyle plank. Get that dialed in before you move to the next section. Now, next section, I'm going to talk to you about the next section. We are going to look at the deadlift, because the deadlift is the hinge and it is the beginning of our kettlebell swing. So with the deadlift, your feet want to be the midline of your foot and towards your ankles want to be in line with the handle of the kettlebell, okay? So from this position here, I then take my choppy hands, I chop into my hips, I sink backwards from my butt. I grab hold of my kettlebell. Now from here, I pull my shoulders back and down as if I'm trying to snap the handle of the kettlebell in half. That is going to rotate or externally rotate my shoulder, and it's going to pat my shoulders down into their sockets where they're supposed to be. If you're someone that's always up here because, oh, this is life, that's a problem. Shoulders and ears don't like each other. They're not friends. They need social distancing. Shoulders come down. So we hinge backwards. We've got some arches in our feet. Shoulders, we sniff, and all I want you to do is just hold this position. And what you're feeling in this position is you'll feel your hamstrings begin to light up, okay? It's a tough position to get into, and you'll feel your hamstrings begin to lighten up. That's a good thing. Be okay with spending some time in this position. Here, loaded, I've got everything ready to fire, and then I back up. Now, I haven't touched on head position. As I'm in this position for my kettlebell swing, my head is not jammed up and back. 45 degrees, looking down, and then as I come up, my head just slightly can extend. So from there, we're going to go into the deadlift. Sniff in before we start. Hold a bit of tension as we come up through the back of the teeth. You remember? So, find position, shoulders, sniff, brace, glutes, abs, sniff. Good. Making sure as you're doing it, as you're coming down, you're pushing your hips backwards. Too often do I see, I'm going to do a couple of bad ones, here, and then we dump the kettlebell forward. You can see I've lost that tension. I need that kettlebell there, behind me, by my ankles. Sniff, load. Good. Practice the deadlift. The back stays neutral. And we've got the same cues. So I really want you to squeeze the glutes, brace the abs, break the glass ceiling, okay? Dial up the tension. So kettlebell training is really the art of relaxation and tension put together, okay? And if you can master that, the yin and the yang of it, you're gonna find that kettlebell training is just magical. It does wonderful things for you. So the next drill, now we've dialed in that deadlift. There's my dog. We are going to go into a pendulum swing. So what we're doing now is I want you to toes in line with the kettlebell on the front of it. You're going to step 180 and then step again 180. Other side, step 180, step again 180. That there is the position that you want to be, how far you want to be away from your kettlebell to start with. So if I hinge backwards from here, I then take my hands forwards. Now I'm disconnected in this position. For me to be connected in this position, I need to pull that kettlebell slightly towards me, and I need to corkscrew my shoulders back and down. Now just sinking to that position, I suddenly feel my glutes and my hamstrings light up, okay? That's what you're looking for. So, hinging backwards, here, pull everything together, feel everything light up, and the pendulum swing, so, we hike it back towards us, we feel the cocking of the bow, and then we re-put it down. Now notice that first pendulum swing, I totally messed that up, okay? Feedback, I know I messed it up. Go, and if you know you mess up, that's fine. Just go and do it better. So, hinging backwards, sniff, let's do it again. Cock. Cool. You'll feel everything again. Those hamstrings, glutes begin to load up. They begin to do their job. Now from there, we're going to go into what's known as the hike pass, or the power swing, some people call it. And it's the same position. So we hike the bell up, exactly like we did before. So we find our footing here. We hinge backwards. We've got a good position. Our shoulders are locked and loaded. Hike and park. And notice as I'm going through those, I'm just going through all of my motions. I'm hiking back, loading shoulders into their positions, driving, I'm squeezing my glutes, I'm bracing, I'm getting tall from here, I come back, and then I park the bell safely. How you pick up the bell and how you put down the bell is as important as how you swing the bell, okay? Everything matters. So don't be one of these people that picks it up and kicks it off their hips and then goes again. That's bad training. Be good with your training. So we've run through, we've braced, we've found our strong first, or our hardstyle plank, we've wall hinged, we've deadlift, we have pendulum swung, we've hike passed. Now we're ready for the kettlebell swing. So find your position. Again, once you've done this enough, you'll soon start to learn your position. Load it, hips go backwards, hands go out, load those shoulders, hike, park the bell. Breathing, get it dialed in. It's a hinge. So what I want you to think about, I want you to do a few sets of 10 swings. You're going to do 10 swings, and then you're going to put the kettlebell down. You're going to rest a minute, 2 minutes, doesn't matter. First set of swings, and this will be on a report. I want you to focus on feeling your feet in the ground. Now we can only really process one cue, one thing to think about at a time. We give too many things to think about, we get overwhelmed, we get confused. So, round one, your focus point. Feel your feet in the ground, okay? Are you rolling in, or have we got some nice arches? What you should find with the swing, naturally, it wants to put you in a good arch position with your feet. The second set, I want you to focus on zipping up from your quads. That means you're trying to pull your knee up towards your hips at the top of the swing. So in this position, I'm zipped up. I've got lots of tension through those quads. Set 3, I want you to think about squeezing your glutes as hard as you possibly can. So we are cracking walnuts in our butt cheeks. 4, we brace for a punch, okay? So here we are bracing as hard as we can. Someone's gonna give us a sucker punch. Not here at the top of the swing. I see that all too often. Locked and loaded into position, okay? 5, I want you to load the bow. Hips go backwards, all right? If you're just popping back here, if I loaded up a slingshot and I just put it here, it's not gonna go very far. It's not gonna elicit a lot of power. If I wanna utilize the power, I have to cock it back and load it. So, load the bow. Next one, enjoy the float. So when you're in this position here, our glutes are squeezed, we're zipped up, we're feeling the ground, we're braced, but there is a moment where you're in the middle of the bell going up and down. you need to enjoy the flow. That's a split second of a rest. Super, super important, okay? So we enjoy the float. Then from there, and the last one I want you to think about is break the glass ceiling. So hinging backwards, boom, enjoy the float, get tall, break that glass ceiling. We've got a nice double chin, we're not poking forward, we're not here. Break the glass ceiling, okay? Those are the cues that each set I want you to really focus in on and really, really think about. Now, there may be one of those cues that suddenly you have an aha moment with, okay? Go back and really use that cue, okay? Because this is the drill to improve the skill. So the skill is the kettlebell swing. What drills do I need, or you, to improve your swing, okay? Spend some time there, dial in the fundamentals. I'll be back part 2 with the Turkish get up. Paul, Results Personal Training. Have a great day.